Hello and welcome to PMCLounge.com. My name is Shoaib. I'm the voice behind all the videos that you see on this YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/PMCLounge, as well as the PMCLounge.com website. Today I'm talking about my personal experience, how I cleared my PMP exam back in 2016, June 2016 to be precise. And I have a blog on it, my personal blog. I'll share the link to that blog in the description below. I wrote that blog in June 2016 again. That is my personal blog, so that it has nothing to do with PMCLounge.com as such. But I'll share the link to that blog post, and I was going over to kind of share my my experience, how I cleared the PMP in 7 weeks. So this is totally my experience. Of course, I have kind of translated that into the Excel file, which is available for download on PMCLounge.com. You can always go over, download that Excel file, which is basically the entire plan of how you clear the PMP in 7 weeks, which is 49 days. And on the 50th day, you can go ahead, take up your exam, and I'm pretty sure you're going to clear it. So my personal experience, plus I kind of tailored it so that everyone can use it. So that is why it's available on PMCLounge.com if you haven't downloaded it yet. The direct link to that page is also available in the description. So go ahead, download the study plan for yourself and clear it. Clear your PMP. All the best. Now, this video, I'm talking about my personal experience. What exactly did I do in those 7 weeks, in those 49 days, so that I was able to clear the PMP exam on the 50th day? Again, if you want to read, the link is available in the description to my personal blog. That post is from June 2016, like I mentioned. That was when I cleared my PMP exam. So, alright, so let's start with the video. The first prerequisite for this video is that you already know what PMP is. You have the basic information, right? What is PMP? What are PDUs? The process group and knowledge areas, the PGK mapping, what exactly is that? What is PMBOK? So the idea here is that you already know what these things are. If you don't know any of these, if you're new, if you're just, searching around and you ended up on this video, I'll share a link in the description below about the basic information, right? The very basic that you need to know when you're starting off with your PMP exam. So I'll share the link in the description below. It's an entire playlist. You can go ahead, browse through that playlist, check out all the videos which are relevant to you. Again, on our website, PMCLounge.com, there is a start here section, which is best suited for you if you're someone who's just new, just starting off, have no idea what this is. All right. So in order to continue with this video, like I said, the prerequisite is, my understanding is that you already know what the basics of PMP are, right? You're not someone who has no idea what PMP is. All right, so the first thing is, what did I do to clear my PMP exam on the 50th day, right? So there are two things that I, took care of before I chalked out my entire plan and treated my preparation for PMP as a project, right? So I treated the preparation for PMP as a project. I said I'm going to do it in 50 days because I had read earlier as well, and even my mentors, my seniors who were already PMP, they all told me it's doable in 50 days. It's doable in 1.5 to 2 months. So I said, okay, fine, 50 days, 7 weeks, I'll create a plan. I'll create a project plan of sorts to clear the PMP in 7 weeks, right? So that is what I did. So two things is, number one is you need to select the dates of your training. Some people call it the PMP boot camp, or some people call it the PDU classes, right? So you need to have those dates with you. Unless and until you don't have those dates, you will not be able to kind of finalize this 7-week plan, right? So book your week-long training for those 35 PDUs, right? With your REPs, with your general school, right? I'd say don't do it online. Go to a class, take a week-long PMP PDU training or the PMP bootcamp, whatever you want to call it, right? Have the date for that week well in advance. That is going to help you. That is very, very important when you are making this entire 50-day plan, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is you should not have any other commitment whatsoever for at least 1 month after your PDU training, right? So that is one of the reasons why you should know what is the date, for what is the week where you will be doing this PDU training. After that, for 1 month, you should not have any commitments whatsoever, right? You need to be studying. There is absolutely no breaks allowed, no parties allowed, no, diving deep into your ongoing projects allowed, nothing like that. You need to speak to your manager, you need to speak to your friends, you need to speak to the important people in your life. You need to tell them that 1 month after my PDU training, I will not be available. I will be unreachable. As simple as that, right? So those are the two things that I'd suggest you do. One is you need to have the dates for your PMP training, the week-long PMP training. And two, you need to have no commitments whatsoever for at least 1 month, the 4 weeks after your PMP training, right? So these are the two things that you need before you can chalk out the plan and make use of the plan. Like I said, the plan for 7 weeks is already available on pmclounge.com. Link in the description. Go ahead, download it. Hundreds of people have downloaded it. A lot of people have wrote to me and said that they used the plan and they were able to clear the PMP. So do it now. Right, let's get ahead. Although it might sound as if this video is all about, creating a plan, clearing your PMP exam and all that, but just a disclaimer here, just one thing that I want to say, as someone who's passionate about project management, as someone who loves the field, the entire industry and domain of project management, I'd like to mention here that PMP is not just about clearing an exam, right? Not just about scoring well in an exam, clearing that exam, getting a certification. It's not just that. PMP is about understanding the concepts of project management. It's about having the systems and processes to use it, not just in your professional world, but also in your personal life as well. To be able to read all those ethics in project management, right? The PMI ethics, code of ethics and everything, you need to absorb it. Project management needs to become your second nature. And that is the whole idea that I believe, at least I believe, about PMP is, right? It's not just about clearing an exam. It's not just about scoring good, getting a certification, right? And showing it off to everyone that you are PMP certified. That is all fine and dandy. But what matters is project management your second nature? Is project management something that you're passionate about? And that is, I think, the idea behind PMP is because PMP is a unique exam. They don't ask you what the right definition of a project charter is. They might, but usually they don't. Usually the questions will talk about certain scenario and they'll ask you what is the right approach. These type of questions, the scenario based question, they are there so that you create an understanding and you develop an understanding of project management. You think like a project manager, not just in your professional life, but also in your personal life. So that's something that I wanted to take it off my chest before we go ahead and dive deep into what did I do for those 7 weeks, right? So 7 weeks, like I said, is all that it takes. Excel file, the entire plan is available. I'll go over what I did in all those 7 weeks, week by week. Like I said, if you want to read this, if you don't want to go and watch the entire video, you can definitely go ahead, read this. The link is available in the description. This is from my personal blog. The link to that blog is available in the description. Right? All right, so let's start with week 1 and week 2. Week 1 and week 2 out of those 7 weeks, right? So what all do you need to do in these 2 weeks? So 2 things basically. Number 1 is you need to read the PMBOK guide once, right? You need to skim through the pages. You're just getting your feet in water, by the way, right? You're just getting started. You might have no idea the kind of terminologies that PMBOK guide uses, right? So although if you're already, experienced project manager, which you should be because 3 years is the mandatory requirement for PMP, But it is possible that in your company, in your organization, in your industry, some of the terminologies that PMBOK guide uses are not being used, right? So some of the terminologies might be new to you. That is what you're going to find out when you read the PMBOK guide for the first time. So this is something you need to do in the week 1 and week 2. Read the PMBOK guide once. Refer to some of the reference books. My favorite, personal favorite, is Rita Mulcahy, of course. But my second favorite is Head First. They do not have the PMBOK Edition 6 version yet. Today we are in August 2018, 1st of August 2018. They do not have the PMBOK Guide 6 version of Head First in the market. We don't have that right now. So do not refer to Head First for now, because the version that they have right now is outdated. So refer to Rita Mulcahy. The latest version is out. I'll share a link to Rita Mulcahy, the latest book, in the description below. Go ahead, you can buy that as well, right? So two things that you need to do is, one, you need to read the PMBOK guide once. You'll be able to understand a lot of terminologies that is being used as part of the PMBOK guide, as part of the project management industry, right? And the second thing you need to do is refer to a reference book of your choice. If you're wondering what reference book to use, the link is available in the description for PMP preparation resources. Some of the books, some of the resources that we over at pmclounge.com think are really helpful. Go to that link, select your own reference book that you like. Like I said, my personal favorite is Rita Mulcahy, so I'll talk from that perspective. So this is what I did. Okay, so I read the PMBOK guide once. I went to Rita Mulcahy. I didn't read the entire thing, but I just skimmed through and referred to some of the concepts which were difficult to understand in the PMBOK guide, right? So that's what I did. I read PMBOK guide cover to cover once in those 2 weeks. And second thing that I did was I referred to Rita Mulcahy and Head First sometimes to understand some of the concepts which were definitely new to me, right? Which I had never heard of even before, right? So let's say procurement. If you're someone who's working in software industry and all the software, all the code is written within your company, within your organization, you might have no idea whatsoever what procurement is. And some of the processes in procurement, they could be something which you're reading for the first time. So refer to reference books as well to have a better understanding, to have a deeper understanding of such concepts. So week 1, week 2, this is what you need to do. That's all. Week 3 is going to be your training, right? The PDU training, right? So that is the reason why I told you need to know what are the dates for your PDU training, because the entire third week out of these 7 weeks, right? Out of these 49 days, the entire third week is going to be your PDU training. It is there for your PDU training. Of course, you'll have Saturday and Sunday as well, but and in this 50 days, right, Saturday and Sundays are included. Your weekends are included, so you're not going out partying on your weekends, right? So what you need to do on week 3 is you need to attend the PDU training. That is what I did. Attended the entire week for PDU training. Every day I made sure I answered at least 30 questions, 25 to 30 questions of every knowledge area that was covered, right? So let's say day 1, they covered 2 knowledge areas, let's say integration management and let's say scope management, integration and scope, right? Those 2 knowledge areas were covered on day 1. I come back home, I solved 30 questions each from integration management and scope management, right? So this is what I would advise you to do as well, right? Third week, go get your training done away with. Solve at least 25 to 30 questions of each knowledge area on the same day when they teach you about that knowledge area, right? So that the next day, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you can go back, you can pose your questions and you can get the answers, right? If you're confused or anything, right? Again, make use of the Saturday and Sunday after your training is done to catch up with any of the questions that you were not able to finish, right? Any of the knowledge areas where you were not able to complete the 25 to 30 questions that I'm talking about, right? That you should be solving. Make use of Saturday and Sunday so that you have, so in week 3, what have you accomplished? You have completed your entire training and you have solved 25 to 30 questions each from each knowledge area, right? So those are the things that you have done on week 3. Let's go ahead, let's talk about week 4 and 5, and I have that blog open here. I have some notes here as well, so that I don't look around and think what I did on week 4 and week 5. So week 4 and week 5, these are the 2 weeks which are the key to your PMP preparation. Okay, so week 4, week 5, what you need to do, what I did was I went over the PMBOK guide again. That is what you need to do. Go over the entire PMBOK guide. This time don't skim through. This time read it and understand it. You will develop a better understanding. This is going to, you'll realize it yourself that on the second reading of the PMBOK guide, right? When you read it for the first time, you're just getting your feet in water. You went, you did a week-long training, you got better understanding of project management. This time around, week 4 and week 5, when you're reading the PMBOK guide, you will realize that the level of understanding that you have in terms of project management has increased quite a lot, right? So go over the PMBOK guide once again in week 4 and week 5. Refer to the reference books. I'd like to repeat that, right? Reference books are extremely important. Refer to them at least for the topics that you are confused at, right? At least for the topics which are new to you. So refer to the reference books. This is something you need to do on week 4 and 5. Refer to some of the online videos and some of the online articles. They are really, really helpful. And refer to them. If you still don't understand a concept, right, from the PMBOK guide, then you refer to a reference book. Still you're not able to understand, let's say, a topic, go on to YouTube, go on to other online resources, find texts, articles, find videos on those concepts which you're not able to comprehend, which you're not able to understand. Videos have the power, right, to explain you something that you cannot read and understand, right? So do that. Next thing that I did was I solved the practice questions of Rita Mulcahy. Now, like I said, you might have some other reference book. So what you need to do is you need to solve the practice questions of that book. Solve all the practice questions that are available in the book, right? So I had Rita Mulcahy. I solved all the practice questions that I had that were there in the Rita Mulcahy book, right? The other thing that I did was I highlighted important text in the PMBOK guide and in the reference books as well. I highlighted important text, right? Week 4 and week 5, by this time you already are aware of, you can make out, right, what's important, because you have solved certain questions in week 3 as well. So you can already make out what's important and what, the kind of text which is going to help you understand a concept, right? So I highlighted some of the text, I marked the important text, and I also created notes that I had been carrying, right? From week 1, week 2, I started making notes. Week 3 was a lot of notes because week 3 was the training. Week 4 and 5, I finalized, refined my notes. I had my notes with me. I went over it once again in week 4 and week 5, right? So that was done. We are down to 5 weeks. We are left with 2 weeks only in this 7-week plan to clear the PMP exam, right? So week 4, week 5 done. That was the key. That is when you had to study the most. That is when I had to study the most. That is when I had to grind the most. And that is when you should also be studying the most. Right, let's go on. Let's go to week 6. This is where you're building on top of what a strong foundation you have already created for PMP and the understanding of project management, right? So what you need to do on week 6 is you can install some of the apps that are available out there. You can go ahead, you can refer to some of the videos that are available out there. This app and these videos that I'm referring to are not, teaching you something. They are basically asking you PMP questions and you are solving those questions, right? Over here at PMC Lounge, we have recently uploaded videos on questions around integration management, practice questions on scope management, right? We'll continue to do so in the future as well, right? So you can refer to videos like these, which will give you the questions, you solve those questions, right? They'll give you the answer and they'll also give you a brief explanation of why the certain answer is right. refer to these videos. There are certain apps out there. And by the way, I've done a video on the preparation resources, PMP preparation resources, mock exam resources. You can definitely check that out. The link will be in the description. The entire playlist will be in the description. So check that out as well, right? So that is something that you need to do in week 6. Also, you need to revisit all the texts that you had highlighted, right? Revisit them, read all the texts that you highlighted in week 4 and 5. Read through your notes which you finalized in week 4 and 5, right? So this is something which you're going to do in week 6, right? Next thing you do is you need to finalize your PMP brain dump. What is a brain dump, you might ask? Again, I've made a video on it, link in the description, refer to it if you don't already know what brain dump is. And in that video, I also shared how my brain dump looked like, right? So you can definitely refer to that video. My brain dump was quite helpful for me, during the exam. So definitely go ahead, check that out, check that video out, understand what brain dump is. Create your brain dump. Week 6 is when you create and finalize and refine and practice and everything with your brain dump, right? Entire week 6, 7 days, what you need to do, what I did as well was, what you need to do here is every day write down, create a draft of your brain dump. Day 1, create a draft of your brain dump. Day 2, refine that brain dump. Day 3, try to understand, refine it more. Try to understand what else can you add, what else can you, skip from the brain dump. It doesn't have to be 20 pages long, right? So that is something, your brain dump is something that you should be working on in week 6. Something that I did and I'd like you to do as well if possible. I went over the PMI isms in the Rita Mulcahy book, right? So if you're not referring to Rita Mulcahy book, of course, this doesn't apply to you. But PMI isms are, good insights in project management. It will help you kind of recall some of the project management concepts. And that is the reason why I read PMI isms. If you're not referring to Rita Mulcahy, you might not have those PMI isms, which is still fine, right? This is something which I did, and that is why I'm kind of putting it out there in this video. And the last thing that I did in week 6 was I answered head first questions, right? So there's this book called Head First. Like I said, I had 2 reference books, Rita Mulcahy and Head First. Rita Mulcahy questions I'd already solved. In week 6, I solved head first questions related to all the knowledge areas, all the chapters, right? So I solved head first questions. So that is what I did in week 6. Now let's talk about week 7, the final week before your PMP exam, right? Week 7 should be all about the entire importance. The most important thing that you're going to do in week 7 is going to be the mock exams. Take at least 3 mock exams. 3 is an ideal number. A lot of experts believe that is the correct number. Although, there's nothing wrong or right when it comes to PMP exams. So you may take tens of mock exams if you want to. I took 3. I believe 3 is a good enough number to gauge, where you stand, right? So 1 mock exam every day is what you should target when you begin with week 7, right? Day 1, day 2, day 3, 3 mock exams, right? Now, when you're taking up the mock exams, it is important that you create notes on the answers that you mark for, for all the questions in the mock exams, right? So even if you got an answer correctly, most of the mock exams that are available out there, they'll give you an explanation of why the answer is correct. Whatever that you have selected is correct and why it is so. Whatever you have selected is wrong and the right answer is this, and why is this option right? So go through, don't just sit for 4 hours and take up the entire mock exam. After that, take a break, come back, spend 2 more hours and understand all the reasoning behind all the answers. It doesn't matter if you selected it right or wrong. Go over the reasons for every single question that you have marked in the mock exam. That is something that you should definitely do, right? So mock exam is something that you should, pay utmost importance to in week 7, right? Now, check your apps, check the online videos for certain concepts. Don't do any more reading, but you can check online videos. This is where the entire concept of PMC Lounge came into the picture, right? This is where I thought, okay, I need to start a website, I need to start a YouTube channel, I need to put out content out there that people, preparing for their PMP, the aspirants, they can definitely refer to. So week 7 is where it's a good time to refer to some of the videos as well. Go over the highlighted texts, go over the notes that you have created, right? Practice your PMP brain dump, which was finalized in week 6. Do that in week 7. I read the PMI-isms again, like I said. If you have the read-MLK, you can go over the PMI-isms. If you don't have read-MLK, it's fine. It's not that important. I read it twice once in week 6 and once in week 7, because it helped me connect the dots a bit, right? So that is why. The last thing that you can do is you can go over the RDS and Code of Ethics. These are two documents that are available on pmi.org. We have created a video on this earlier as well, but yeah, these are the two documents that you should at least read: the RDS Role Delineation Study and the Code of Ethics, because some of the questions in the PMP exam are based on the PMI Code of Ethics as well. So read these two documents. You don't have to learn or by heart anything from these two documents, but these are extremely helpful documents. I definitely recommend that you go over these two documents as well. So this is all that you need to do in week 7, the end of 49 days, and 50th day will be your PMP exam. Of course, you need to book your PMP exam. Don't forget to do that. Once you finalize these 7 weeks, right? My suggestion would be, once you have the date of your PDU training classes, 4 weeks after that, book your PMP exam, right? So week 3 was the PDU training. When you have that date of your PDU training, go ahead. 4 weeks after those PDU training is when a date you should book for your PMP exam. 7 weeks, like I said, no other commitments, right? No partying, no going out, no dinners, no lunches, nothing. I mean, dinners and lunches, eating out, right? You have to have your food. So, right, these 7 weeks you need to totally devote and dedicate for PMP study, for the project management study. It is hard. It is not easy. Nobody said it's easy. It takes a lot of commitment. That is for sure. PMP exam is one such professional certification that will take a lot of commitment, right? It requires you to study. It requires you to understand. It's not something you can mug up and, they'll ask you straightforward definition type of questions and you can, mark. It's not like that. It will take commitment, but if I can do it, you can do it too. 7 weeks is all it takes. All the best for your exam. I hope you clear the PMP certification. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is going to definitely help you out. Check us out on our social media. PMC Lounge is our handle on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com. A lot of helpful articles available there. If you're not into video, if you're not, a fan of watching videos, you want to read, go over to pmclounge.com. You'll find all the articles that you're looking for, right? So that's all that I had in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you were able to, understand what it takes, what those 7 weeks should look like. The plan is available, the Excel file, right? This plan is available in an Excel file, available for you to download. Link in the description. Go ahead, download that and hit the like button if you like this video. That's all that I had. Thank you and have a nice day.